Welcome in to Varsity Vine, presented to you by First Security Bank. I'm your host, Alyssa Orton. It's always great to be with you, always great to share another conversation. And this one I'm really excited about because I think, as you guys know, we've talked about it before. I grew up playing the sport of softball, and it's been really fun this past spring to cover it on the high school level. I've also had the opportunity to do the play-by-play for the state finals game the last 2 years, a game in which the Har-Ber Wildcats played the Bentonville Tigers, lost those games. In fact, they've lost the last 3 years, but that's not why we're here. It is a brand new era for Har-Ber Wildcats softball as head coach Randy Osnes deciding to retire, and in steps his assistant coach, Honesty Holt. Not only did she play for Har-Ber as well as Bentonville West, but she also was able to really get her teeth into the coaching world and learn from Coach Osnes as well as Coach Cantrell, who she played for at Bentonville West. And now she has an opportunity to build her own program at Har-Ber and put her own stamp on the game of softball. So I had some time to sit down and kind of talk to her about what this transition has been like over the last really like 2 weeks and what she is hopeful for the future. So enjoy this conversation with Har-Ber softball head coach Honesty Holt.
I actually started playing softball for the Springdale Parks and Rec.
Hmm.
So it's kind of full circle that I've made my way all the way
Yeah.
back to Har-Ber High School.
Yeah.
I graduated from Bentonville West, played under Coach Cantrell, and
Hmm.
then I went and played D2 softball out in West Virginia at Davis and Elkins College for my 4 years.
Yeah.
Graduated with my bachelor's in sport management, and then came back home, started coaching with Coach Osnes at Har-Ber that fall after I graduated, and then
Hmm.
during my first year, I was getting my master's. So I have my master's in sport administration. And then I've been with him the last 3 years. So
Yeah.
I've been at Har-Ber my entire high school coaching
Sure.
career. I coached travel ball every summer of college.
Hmm.
So I did that for 4 summers. Then as soon as I started high school ball, I stopped coaching
Yeah.
travel. So,
Yeah.
and now we're here, head coach of Har-Ber High School. So,
Here we are. Yeah, let's
yeah.
let's pick back up there. When you found out that Coach Osnes was going to retire again,
Again.
what was that conversation like?
It started off, so I've known for a while, and I took some time to think about it and really reflect on my capabilities and kind of what my goals were. Just like taking a step back from not only the softball aspect of it, but just the responsibility aspect, and just thinking, can I handle this? What are my
Mhm.
capabilities? And so I really just took a step away, reflected on it, had a lot of conversations with him about kind of what he does behind the scenes that maybe I don't know about, I don't see. And he slowly just started delegating more and more
Mhm.
tasks to me to see what I could handle. And it kind of never stopped.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of things that I did that I didn't
Yeah,
know that he was
yeah.
doing these things on purpose. With a lot of intention behind it. And I finally came to the conclusion that I was like, I'm going to pursue it.
Mhm.
Hopefully everything works out the way I want it to, and
Yeah.
had the opportunity to interview and do all of
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And then got the call last week
Mhm.
that I got the job. So it's
Yeah.
really, really crazy couple of weeks with him announcing his retirement to the kids. Interviews started happening the following week.
Sure.
So it was just
Mhm.
quick turnaround because they want to get everything done before the dead period, but
Right.
it was
Yeah,
kind of a
exactly.
whirlwind.
Right. Yeah. When you're going through that interview process, I'm sure that obviously what you've done and how you've been able to be an assistant coach under Coach Osnes has helped. But those conversations of just, what you bring to the table,
Mhm.
because you're young relatively and coaching and taking over a 6A program.
So in my interview that we talked a lot about, what Coach O taught me and things that I learned from him. And um it was just funny because whenever they were asking me, what all were you responsible for this past year? And
Mhm.
I was like, I can't even tell you everything that he's taught me, everything I was responsible for. I was like, We might be here for a few hours," because the wealth of knowledge that he kind of gave me, but at the same time, I knew he was guiding me and teaching me, like, these are all the things that you're going to be doing. And so I know I am young,
Mhm.
and that was something that I think that I bring to the table is the
Yeah.
longevity, consistency to these kids.
Mhm.
The relationships I've built with them is a huge, huge, huge thing for me. I've gotten close to these kids over the last three
Mhm.
years, and this senior class that we have right now, they were freshmen whenever we started.
Yeah.
So just being able to ride it all the way out with them, and they have somebody that,
Mhm.
they've been with the last 3 years and they're
Yeah.
able to trust, and they're not having to come in their last year of high school softball and have a new person to kind of learn from and learn a whole new, system. Every coach has their systems, and it's more of
Mhm.
like a consistent change for them.
Mhm. Yeah, I would love to know, describe to me what that meeting with the players was like on Wednesday when they announced it to the team.
So at first, for some reason, there was a door behind us. There was me
Yeah.
and our other two assistant coaches. I had called Coach O that morning and I was like, "Hey, can you come to this meeting? I really want you to be there whenever they, officially pass the torch." And for some reason, the kids got really nervous that there was a door right behind us.
Mhm.
And they thought that for some reason we were going to do a big show and the head coach was going to magically walk through this door behind us. And so they're all sitting there on edge because they're like, there's no way. Of course, they had the idea. They were like, oh, is it going to be Coach Holt?
Mhm.
And when he finally announced it, they all started cheering and clapping, which, made me feel really good. But whenever they told me, they were like, I thought somebody was going to walk through that door and it was gonna be like this huge introduction, which I
Mhm.
thought that was hilarious. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, but
No.
it was cool, and a lot of the parents were really excited. So
Yeah.
it was very reassuring to know you have that. Not
Mhm.
only did the administration have
Mhm.
that faith, that belief in me, but
Mhm.
a lot of the parents and
Mhm.
the athletes were very, excited
Mhm.
about the decision that our
Mhm.
admin made. So made me feel very good.
Yeah. Yeah, you talk about how, everything you've learned from Coach Osnes would probably take us forever to sit here and talk about. But when you did finally have that torch passed to you, what are maybe some words of advice that he's given you these first couple of days and through
Mhm.
that transitional process that have really been the most impactful?
I think the most impactful thing that he said is that I have to be myself. I can't pretend
Mhm.
to be somebody that I'm not. And just because, I'm wearing a different hat, I still need to stay true to my values and everything that I kind of stand for. Because I'm at the end of the day, I'm not going to be Randy Osnes. If
Right.
I could be half of what he is, I will know that I have done an amazing job in this career because he has made such an impact on the sport. But I think just staying true to myself would be the biggest thing and not trying to, change myself because I'm in a different role and because,
Mhm.
I'm kind of wearing all the hats rather than
Yeah.
just helping out Coach
Mhm.
Osnes.
Mhm. Have you thought about the fact that 10 years ago you were playing in this league and now you're a head coach in this league?
Yes, so I actually found a photo the
Yeah.
other day because in high school we would always go to and play in the Farmington tournament.
Mhm.
And I found a photo of me playing third base, and Coach Osnes is coaching third while we're playing Farmington. And I showed it. I had printed it out and put it in a little book for his. I gave him like a retirement gift, and it was the very first page when he opened it. It was a picture of me playing against him, and then the next picture was a picture of us coaching together. And I was like, it's crazy how we've come full circle. I would have never imagined that we are here, and the
Yeah.
fact that he came over to Har-Ber after retiring for 2 years, it's just
Yeah.
crazy how things kind of work out.
Mhm. You talk about how much he's impacted the sport. How have you watched the sport evolve over the years, in the high school level and the level of talent that just continues to grow in the state of Arkansas?
Oh, absolutely. I would say whenever I was growing up, it felt like there wasn't very many kids that were competitive in the sport, and it felt like whenever I was in high school, I felt like the only one of the few that wanted to play college whenever I was a freshman and sophomore. And then junior and senior year, it felt like a lot of people started my class from high school. I think 6 out of 8 of us signed to play college softball, which at first I started off playing high ball at Har-Ber in Springdale.
Mhm.
And then there I was the only one that wanted to play college. I knew as a freshman that was my goal. And then my parents moved from Tawnytown to Bentonville, so then
Mhm.
I ended up switching over to Bentonville West, and there the amount of travel ball players and people who wanted to play college was insane. And
Mhm.
then once I came back, I started coaching travel ball. So then I was kind of in
Yeah.
that area where kids are trying to get recruited and helping them in that recruiting process. And then stepping into the high school, there's kids who, just want a team to be a part of. And
Mhm.
then you have those kids who have Sierra Dots who wants to play at the highest level. So it's cool to have a space that welcomes all of them, and we are able to, make something happen with the kids that we
Mhm.
have, and how many
Mhm.
kids that want to play the sport. I remember high school rosters used to be maybe 15 kids if you were lucky, and now we just had tryouts a few weeks ago, and our roster is going to be closer to 40. So it's cool to watch how many kids want to be involved in the sport now.
Yeah. That's crazy to me. I played softball my whole entire life too, and we did call like high school tryouts, I think like 2 weeks before practices were allowed to start. Like
Hmm.
things have changed so much, and the level
Yeah,
of competition, I think is what's been really fun for me to see and experience being around it the last couple of years is just the level of competition is so much
absolutely.
higher than it used to be, which makes the sport a lot of fun, which is why I think it's gotten a lot of attention, not just on the high school level, but on the collegiate level as well.
Hmm. Agreed.
So when you look at you talk about being yourself, right? And that's
Mhm.
a big piece of advice that you got. What does that mean? What when you look at the kind of head coach that you want to be, what are the first kind of few things that really stand out to you?
I think in relation to, having Coach Osnes as a mentor, I
Mhm,
know there was a lot of things that we were very, very similar on. I would say the biggest thing that I know that I'm not is he always told me that I was probably the most even keel person he's ever coached with. Like the kids, I kind of have it. It's not necessarily that I don't show emotion, but like when it comes to umpires,
mhm.
I'm very, as I mean, everybody knows Randy Osnes, and he's a little more out there than I am when it comes to things like that. But I'm always gonna have the kids' backs. I'm just gonna I
Sure.
think there's gonna be situations that I handle differently, just because of my personality type.
Yeah,
But the kids, I'm not gonna be that coach that has to yell whenever I am talking to the kids. They know whenever that moment comes, and they're like, oh, we've made a mistake here.
yeah,
And usually they'll come together on their own and kind of talk to each other, and those leaders take over, and they're like, guys, we need to kind of get it together, which is nice that I can just give them a look and they know I don't have
yeah.
to say anything all the time. And just trusting that the things that I do know, I have a very softball IQ is something I always took pride in myself on whenever I was
Mhm,
playing, and being able to share that with these kids is, I think, a really cool experience. And just trusting myself and staying true to what I do know, and but also
mhm,
incorporating the systems that we've
mhm,
put in. I just need to continue adding to those things
mhm.
and modifying, making them better and better every single year.
Yeah. Well, it's no secret that the last 3 years, have ended at the state championship game. Unfortunately,
Yes,
not the result that you guys wanted, but to have those kind of experiences, to know what it takes to get to that championship game, to try to win a state championship. I think the question is, what does Har-Ber continue need to do to continue to develop and put out a really high level quality product every year?
absolutely. I would say that this past year, we got over that hump, of
Mhm,
finally winning one of the two games that we needed to prove to ourselves that they are capable. I think for us, we just need to keep the kids have to just keep proving to themselves, like we can only believe in them so much. They have to believe in themselves. And I think just continuing to instill that belief in them, you got over a huge step this past year that we've been trying to do over the last 2 years. Yes, the state championship game didn't give us the result we wanted, but this past year was we got over that hump, and
mhm,
it sucks to be playing the same team 3 years in a row and not getting the result that we want. But I think that we're one step closer now.
mhm,
And so just continuing
mhm.
and building up their
Mhm.
confidence, is something that I think we'll continue to do. They've got the softball aspect part of it down, and we're
Yeah,
returning a lot of kids who were starters for us this past year. So I think just the mental side of it,
yeah.
just keep building on that.
Mhm. And that helps you out too, knowing you've got a lot of returners who know what to expect
Hmm.
from you, but also know how, to handle themselves in game situations.
Absolutely.
So, you talk about obviously that's the goal. But as you look at taking it day by day, you said you just had tryouts. I mean, like, what's next as you continue to put these pieces together? What does the rest of the summer look like as you guys get into the fall?
Absolutely. So, unfortunately, the dead period starts this weekend.
Yeah.
So they'll have the next
Well,
2
you get
weeks
to take
off.
a break. That's not a bad thing.
I
You
know,
can take
I
a
know.
breather.
I had to explain to them. I was like, the facilities are closed. You cannot use them. They are locked away. You'll have to find somewhere else to go practice because a lot of the kids do use the field over the summer,
Yeah.
and we have an indoor that they have access to. But they'll have the dead period for the next 2 weeks, and then as soon as dead period's over, that Tuesday we'll start summer workouts. So lifting, doing field workouts out there, and then we'll do that a few times a week, and then once school starts we'll be lifting in the mornings and then starting
Mhm.
field practices in the afternoons, so we'll hit the ground running.
Yeah. What are you How excited are you? I mean, I think that that's a
I'm
silly question, but
That's anytime people have asked me, I just can't stop smiling. I'm really
yeah.
excited about the opportunity, and I'm excited to with this. We have quite a few freshmen coming in that seem like
Mhm.
they're gonna make immediate impact kids. So I'm really excited to see how this season goes for the seniors in this fall. I just excited. I can't even stop. I haven't stopped thinking about it. People have asked me how the last week has been, and I'm like, I haven't stopped anything. It's just I took a day to kind of let it soak in, and and right after the meeting, I hung out with Coach O for a few hours and just kind of decompressed from the day.
Mhm.
Whenever I got the call, I was at PD actually, which
Mhm.
is I was in a room full of people and I had to walk away, take the phone call, but it was a really cool experience. And
Mhm.
the kids' reaction, I think, is what made it that much better. And seeing how
Yeah.
excited they were, it just filled my cup.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, congratulations again. It's just the start, I know,
It
and
is.
so excited to see how it all comes together for you. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Varsity Vibe. Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Honesty Holt, and excited to see what she's going to do with the Har-Ber Softball program. Also, want to encourage you, like I always do, to head over to our social media platforms. That is Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Got such great content over there for you. Even though it's the summer, a lot's still going on. So we keep you in the know over there on our social media platforms with all of that information, as well as sign up for our newsletter at varsityvibearkansas.com. That comes to your inbox twice a week. And make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here on Varsity Vibe, brought to you by First Security Bank. I'm your host, Alyssa Orange, and I'll see you next time.